Okay, Recons video on Saturday, the 30th of April 2022. It's just gone 2:34 p.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. So, personal note, we're traveling at the moment. We left the beautiful island of Kauai on Friday, and we're transiting through Waikiki on Oahu on our way to Sydney, Australia. First time we've been back in, I think, 3 years, which is just extraordinary, kind of with the lockdown and COVID and all the kind of reaction that the Australian government had to what was going on, just locking the country up. We've not been able to get back. Anyway, that will be fun. End of the surf season here in Hawaii. It seems to get later and later each year. Years ago, there was no kind of surf much going on in April, not in the North Shores at least. But the last couple of years, April's been good. So it was nice to hang around for that. And then hopefully the surf season's kind of starting to get going, gearing up in Australia for kind of autumn and winter. So we're going to be back for that for a few months before we're off on our way again. And it means we're traveling on Monday. We're flying on Monday, and I don't know, I keep on saying, I've noticed this in the last few videos on the weekends, ooh, Monday's going to be big, watch out for Monday. And I don't know, we never get that kind of really big kind of shock and awe type day, yet the ranges are huge. And I think what happened on Friday, certainly people are starting to wake up a little bit in the general population. I know the traders are certainly kind of waking up, but not the general population as yet. So maybe we're going to need one of those kind of shock and awe types days to kind of wake people out of their stupors. But anyway, this was Friday's range, 146 points, closed on the lows or very close to the lows. And this whole week has just been massive ranges. The quietest day was Wednesday here with only 82 points of range. And again, put this in context, it's just it's kind of epic. Maybe we're going to need one of those 200 plus days for it to really kind of make sense. The ranges have been very tradable, very trendy, which is good. Sometimes, you know, it's kind of backwards and forwards, and the retracements are really kind of scary. But the last few days, no, the retracements have been really shallow, and the kind of resumption to trend up and down have been really smooth, which has kind of been good. So hope your trading is going well. And we've got to talk about the biggest thing that I've got on my positions at the moment, apart from my cryptos, is this short Emini added to it this week. And so I'm pretty exposed to this now, and changing some of my numbers here on these charts. So I'll show you what's going on. So just to recap, this is an under the lip signal that we got after we got our triple signal on the better indicators. So the better indicators, three non-correlated indicators, when they all come together, you kind of get higher probability trades. And the three indicators came together with exhaustion by bearish divergence. Those are these two signals. And then we have blue professional bars into the highs, and when the lows of those blue professional bars get triggered, our little trailing stop here flicks the other way into a downtrend. So the professional bars were broken. And lastly, we were overbought on better sine wave. We've been overbought on better sine wave for a good portion of this kind of trend. So finally, we get our triple signal, and we get a move back. A lot of blue professional bars kind of coming in here. I view this as kind of a killing fields, using this kind of area, this up and down, in order to get positioned. If the professionals weren't able to like get out into this move here, they're like, let's hold it for a bit, for a few weeks, kind of push it backwards and forwards, and then use all of that activity to kind of get out, and finally we kind of give way into these lows. So down here at this 4100 number, kind of down here, is absolutely key. And we can see all kinds of supports like that on the other charts, but that's absolutely key. So this is an underlip signal, which is when we get a resistance on the intermediate time frame, because this is looking at 3 time frames. So the daily chart, and then 3 times that, so it's the 3-day charts, and then 3 times that will be a 9-day chart. The intermediate is the 3-day resistance kind of comes in. That's when our signal kind of came in. That was a Friday. Took the trade on the Sunday evening, short 86.50, and we had a second kind of confirming signal with Fridays. I think that was Friday last week, where we broke into a downtrend, and that's why we get another kind of confirming arrow down, sign of weakness at that point here. Now, I talked about my initial stop was at 46.28, and the initial target at 4,000. 4,000 just for a round number, kind of down there, because I didn't think we'd seen enough damage on this move down to 4,100. Now I'm kind of notionally changing that target to this number, 36.76, which was the last time we had blue professional bars in a bounce here, and it's the level of that pro bar that we've got there. So anything around that would be an interesting place to kind of head towards. If we keep on going this week, 4,000 will kind of slice through that because we've not seen enough damage on the downside. And I also think it's about time that we move this kind of stop from 46.28 down to break even at the entry point, 44.8650. So there we go. That's what I'm looking at in my charts, and I still think this has a way to go. Nothing's changed based on last weekend's video. I'm going to show you that in terms of timing and the types of things that you might see that might end this. And there's only one factor that you might see on Monday kind of play out, and we'll kind of just talk about that. But going through the charts, kind of looking down. So this is the better indicators with a 2 window kind of setup, where we've got everything to do with price on the left hand side, better pro-am with professionals in blue and amateurs in yellow based on average trade size, and then better momentum here below the price bars. Right hand side, everything to do with the price, that's based on better sine wave and the trending signals there. So that's that end of trend. So that was the resistance on the intermediate time frame here. And what I'd be looking for on the downside is kind of an exhaustion sell pattern kind of down here. We've got a nice negative reading, but it's not at the kind of 8 million positive that we had on that side, and we need to see some kind of corresponding number on the downside. So we're kind of halfway there in terms of momentum on the daily chart. But this is kind of more interesting when we look at this in terms of cycles. You can see here we're playing out resistance to support down here, resistance to support, and this still says we've got a little bit of time to go before these kind of two lines kind of come together and cross at the bottom. So we've got a few days before that kind of comes in and kind of gives us trouble. At some point we'll get support on the highest time frame kind of come in, but that suggests to me that we've still got some way to travel this week on the downside until those two kind of start to play in. So let's go down a time frame. So the 135-minute chart, so there's 3 135-minute bars in a day session. And again here, let's look at our momentum signals. Well, we had, this is kind of getting the move going with a negative, what is that, kind of 130,000 type read here. And we're just hanging around the 0 line on the 135-minute chart here. So we need to see that signal, an exhaustion sell signal, to signal that something's going to end this move on the downside. So we've not seen that yet on the 135-minute chart. In terms of trending kind of activity, we're through support on the lowest time frame, we're through support in the intermediate time frame. We've gone so far past this point here, we've probably got to go pull back end of trend on the intermediate time frame, and we're heading towards support, resistance to support on the highest time frame. The lines are thicker for the low, intermediate and highest kind of time frame, but you can see these two lines here have time to kind of cross. The highest time frame there is equivalent to this intermediate time frame here, so I'm seeing the same pattern there. That's going to take a little bit of time to kind of work itself out. Down another time frame, so the 45-minute chart, there are 3 45-minute bars and a 135-minute chart. Again, let's look at our momentum readings here. This is kind of getting the move going. We're kind of neutral around momentum here. We've not seen that exhaustion sell there. We're in a downtrend. We're so far below this support on the highest time frame here. That's got to go see pullback end of trend. Possibly we've got a little end of trend to put in on Monday's activity here. That might kind of be a little bit of an area where we might get a bounce. That's a possible there, and I'll show you that. Lastly, on the 15-minute chart, again down another time frame, so divide 45 by 3, you get 15, and here's the 15-minute chart. So on the 15-minute chart, this is where we're short at this point here, so this exhaustion sell kind of getting the move going. This one kind of we flushed, found support, and we bounced back up, and this is getting the move going again, so this exhaustion selling at that point here at 4,500, bang, to go down. So here the readings are a little bit better, kind of minus 13 here, but we ought to be seeing a minus 30 plus type read here to show kind of capitulation, and we've not got that at the moment. We've just broken the trailing stop. The only sign where I can see potentially we're going to have a little bit of a bounce on Monday or something that might stop this kind of decline temporarily is this little signal that's going to go off. The pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame on the 15-minute chart. We put in our pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame, and that is syncing up with a pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame here. So we bounced around this for a while, and then we've got pullback to end of trend we're just putting in on the intermediate time frame. So that's the only thing that might stop this temporarily and have a little bit of a bounce back until we get across here on the highest time frame, where we will continue to make pullback to end of trend. But that's the only thing that I can see, and there wasn't anything particularly like a divergence pattern on the close on the 15-minute chart on Friday or anything like that. So I don't know, Monday could be interesting. If we kind of slice through, just keep on going Monday, then we'll be looking at a pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame on this 15-minute chart. But it's because of these timings on the way down that we've still got time to go, and the exhaustion signals on better momentum have not reached those kind of extreme levels yet. I think we've got further to go on this until we see those signals. So that's the E-mini, that's the big short that's going on at the moment. Other markets, can we see things kind of starting to happen? This is the overbought, oversold kind of system view of the world, with two charts side by side, with one being 3 times higher than the other time frames. So to get a daily chart of the 10-year bonds, we go down to the 460-minute chart. There are 3 460-minute bars in a daily chart of the bonds, 10-year bonds. Here, the last signals that we had, blue professional bars kind of getting short, 129, we're down at 119, kind of down here. Yes, now we're starting to see exhaustion, sell and bullish divergence, but no blue professional bars, and we back it down a time frame, no blue professional bars down here, and Pro-Am is miles away, so this needs to be kind of following up. So bonds are still in a downtrend. Japanese yen, starting to see the beginnings of the end of this kind of massive downtrend that we've had. We've had all these signs of weaknesses continuing to ratchet down, but we've got now exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, and blue professional bars kind of come in on this daily chart, and the Pro-Am stop is kind of trailing down. So that is the beginning of a reversal trade. So the triple signal will go off when that Pro bar trailing stop is broken. So it's a ways away from where we are at the moment. We could kind of keep on going down and trail this stop down and so on. And interestingly, we've not seen exhaustion sell on the 460-minute chart. But anyway, so we're starting to see some activity kind of down here with the exhaustion sell, bullish divergence. Dollar index, well, because the euro's kind of crashing and the Japanese yen is crashing, the dollar index is going a little bit parabolic. And so Friday's activity, blue professional bar, exhaustion buy pattern kind of up here. But we still need to see bearish divergence go off, and this needs to still kind of be trailed up a little bit higher. So it's getting up there, it's getting elevated, it's kind of going a little bit parabolic, but it's not kind of signaled yet. Euro still down, no blue professional bars at the lows, so our trailing stops still a ways away at 111 here, 114, 105, and we've not got exhaustion sell kind of down here, so the euro still in a downtrend. And the Aussie is starting to break. Let me just show you this chart. So the Aussie had a horrible sell-off in the kind of COVID 2020 down to 55. That hurt. Anyway, at 55, and we kind of bounced back up to 80, and then we got our signal to go short. We've had signs of weakness kind of into here, and we've been fussing around for months and months on this, and now all of a sudden we're coming down to 70, just above, and that's an important kind of level there. So we break this to the downside. There's some, we've been trying to hold it at this point here, blue professional bars, that's not worked. We've had exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, and a flush pattern all on the upside. We're kind of rolling over, so we've got to go see some damage on the downside. Blue professional bars coming at the lows, exhaustion sell, and so on. So Aussie dollar kind of not looking good. And we finally got a little bit of weakness kind of happening in copper. Copper's been just going nowhere for, what's that, almost a year, like at 450, having had our exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, and flush patterns here, and we're breaking down. We've got no blue professional bars kind of come in to trail the stop up to break that into a downtrending signal, but copper's looking weak, so starting to show that there's weakness in the economy. And crude, we're just going nowhere at the moment. We're kind of sat underneath this big spike up at 130. We've got no kind of signals, not on the daily chart, not on the 460-minute chart here. Nothing to to show blue professional bars coming at the lows to show that we're going to go test up into 130. I mean, we are in an uptrend on the 460-minute chart and the daily chart, because we're above the pro stop. Maybe at 110 it kind of gets interesting, kind of above there. But if this is all about the economy kind of rolling over, we had weak GDP come out, weak, it was negative, and the economy is kind of rolling over, and everybody's expectation about inflation starts to reverse, because actually we have recession kind of happening and demand destruction. That in fact, crude will reverse, and copper will reverse, and maybe some of the ag commodities will come off a little bit. There's more fundamental reasons why the ag commodities are still high, but copper and crude are representative of global growth, and if that kind of weakens and comes off, then we're going to see this break into a downtrend, and same thing with crude. But at the moment, no signals here. Lastly, Bitcoin. I legged in some more at 40,000 of Bitcoin, just because I saw an opportunity on the lower time frame charts, but it's not played out yet on the daily chart or the 480-minute chart here. We're in an uptrend on this chart. That number down here at 34,000 really key. Blue professional bars kind of come in, but we need the next sign of strength here with blue professional bars kind of come in. We need this a stair step kind of up on the trailing stop on Bitcoin. We've got a little sign of strength there. That'll be a bouncing ball signal, because that's on the intermediate time frame. That little support's kind of come in there, but it's not broken back into an uptrend. Not got above 40,000, or kind of had a look at 45. But I saw there was an opportunity, so and I'm a long-term hodler of Bitcoin, so went in and got some more of that beginning of this last week. So there we go. There was some thoughts for the weekend. As I said, going to be flying on Monday. Going to be very nervous during that, having this position on, but what can you do? Kind of got conviction in it, so going to be holding and seeing where this thing plays out.